2003 Mercedes W211. Need to replace this seat control module. 2003 they were defective. The factory did not replace them, so I bought on eBay a replacement one, and I got this one of 06. I did check the part numbers were different. Make sure they are. Should fit the same connectors, and hopefully that should do. You start with the side speaker. Just pull it. Go. This one, these bolts are coming off with the T30. For this next step, you can just use a small flat screwdriver. Make sure it's all the way in. There you go. And from here, you just pull it. Something with this should do the trick. And snapping right off. I haven't removed much of the door panels before. A tool, something like this, a snap-on tool would be a great addition to your tool collection. And then you're just gonna shove the tool in, find your first one, and next to it or at the middle, kind of pull it. Then go to the next one, pull it, next one, pull it, and once you went all the way around, shoot like this. Make sure it wobbles. Now you need to remove this first, and it just unscrews. Also helps when you put the ignition key in the ignition and lower the window. There's a rubber seal here, and simply all you do is just lift this thing up. There you go. Now, here you want to be very careful. Make sure you do not drop the panel. You first thing you may want to remove this ribbon wire very carefully. There. That's the first step. Make sure you do not damage this. It's very expensive to replace. Now you can simply disconnect the rest of them. Just gonna have the panel resting on your knee, and with your body, with your chest, gonna hold it in place. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. So now I'm going to disconnect. So I got a couple more. Speaker. Alright, I think that should do it. And a cable. So So just simply pull and lift. There you go. That should do it. So I'm just gonna do this in the trunk. Then again, the ribbon. Be careful with the ribbon. What is that? Be careful with the ribbon. I'll leave it there. There we are. So what we're gonna need is 5/16 or 8mm socket. And undo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm gonna do that. So here you go. This is the one I had on my car, and this is the replacement part. Make sure if your vehicle is 2003, you do not use this part number. O3464215. You want to use O3464235. This is a later model part. So, and this is manufacturer junk. So I'm gonna do just slip that on there. Okay, it's in. Put the connector. Look at that. Perfect fit. Better be perfect fit. And this, the ribbon, as I mentioned, we want to be very careful with that. Seems like this came off. I'm going to put that in place. There you go. And then maybe a little bit of glue. Alright, I'm gonna finish this up real quick. So I decided not to use any glue, so I'm just gonna put the clear tape like this. So it's like duct tape, so it's clear. So I think this should be good. Just gonna tape this up, and for another 100 years. Before putting back on, make sure all the pins are in place. There's also rubber seals around them, and sometimes they tend to stick to a door panel. Make sure you take them off and put them on the plastic tabs so they won't fall off or they get misaligned when you're gonna put the door panel back. Visually inspect everything, make sure they're secure and falling off. Alright, this is good to go. Now simply reverse the process. I'm going to try to do this with one hand while holding camera in another hand. So again, put the panel on your knees. Start with the not so important stuff. Hook it on like this. So then pull it. Put in place. Make sure it's in place. Careful with the tabs. And the ribbon wire I'm gonna put last. First I'm gonna start with the regular wires. Then you need to remove that one. So I'm assuming this is blue. You can try the other fittings, but make sure it goes right as it's supposed to. Speaker. There, one that fell out. Gotta make sure everything goes on first. Make sure before securing the panel everything works. Door handle works. Window is connected. It slips on here. I'm not gonna check the seat yet. I'm gonna do that later. Then make sure the tabs go in correctly. As always, they're always hanging down. Gonna push them up. Circle it up. And the rest of them are aligned. Or you can start snapping one at a time. Just like that. Make sure they are aligning in the holes. One at a time. Make sure you don't use a mallet for this. No rubber or especially wood mallet. All you need is a little bit of pressure. Finger pressure, that's all. Nothing heavy. I think that's all of them. Now I can put this. Okay, it's all the way in. Now I need to tighten too hard. And I'll start putting the screws. All it is through. Now I'm gonna check the seat. Look at that. It functions. Thank you, Mercedes, for being so greedy. Now replacing your faulty parts. I had to buy my own, but this mechanisms were faulty from the factory. It's usually 2003, the earlier models. The later models has been fixed. Yeah, as I was telling you before. Make sure you don't use this part number unless your unit has been rebuilt. Don't buy it used with this number. Buy a different number. Anything but this number is no good. So I'm gonna just finish this up real quick. Oh yeah, I got a helping hand. I don't want you in here. Very important, I want to point this out. This part, make sure it goes not under plastic part. Make sure it goes right here under the metal part. It's important that you do it correctly. push all the way in and up like that. There should be a tight space, not like this. This is incorrect. See that? Incorrect. Down and push. Now I can tighten the bolt. Just a regular small flathead. Does the trick. Slip it on there. Like that. So cheap. So simple. And again, not too much force, just gently push that in, reversing the process. And then this. Got to use two hands here. Do want to mention here, when I was trying to remove this part, be careful when you yank this. Make sure specifically you don't break this diode, whatever that is. I'm not really good with electronics. So what do? You do want to use two hands on this one. I had to use two hands, so what I had to actually do is to remove the speaker from the cover itself. And you have to use two hands for this one. I'm gonna try to do this and remove it very carefully. So there it is. Now, what do you want to be careful of? You want to hold it with one hand here, and then pull it, the wire, not the wire itself, but the connector, the plastic connector. Pull it apart carefully. As I said, don't have a third hand to hold the camera, so hold it here and pull right here. It counts hard, but that needs to be done. So just pull it. Nothing to push, nothing to pull. Carefully, not breaking anything. And when putting that back, there's a certain way you want to put it back. There's a notch right here. Make sure that notch goes in here. So again, I'm gonna try this one-handed. There you go. Just gonna gently. Almost there, almost there. There it is. That's all it is. It's there. Now the insulation. There it is. Wire in. That's this part first. And again, behind the metal, between the rubber and behind the rubber. All the way. And just snap it in. Here you go. Well, considering mostly using one hand, done this excellently. Good job. See you later.